All right, everyone, welcome. We are here at the Assabet River Wildlife Refuge here in Stowe, Massachusetts. We just left the visitor center behind us, and now we are headed out for a walk into the woods. The Assabet River Wildlife Refuge today covers about 2,300 acres, mostly in the towns of Stowe, Maynard, and Sudbury. Now, the issue of protecting our public wilderness lands has always been near and dear to my heart, and this area is a real success story for that effort. Today it's currently protected by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, but that was not always the case here. This land had mostly been hunting and fishing grounds for local Nipmuc Indians until European settlers arrived. And they set up homes and farmsteads around here and eventually formed the towns of Stowe and Maynard and Sudbury. Now all that changed in 1942, and at that time, U.S. Army claimed all of this land with eminent domain. And they displaced about 80 or so families that had been living here for generations. Now, why would the Army want all this land out here in Stowe? Well, it turns out this land was designated as an ammunition storage backup point. The local story, at least, is that this area was considered far enough away that if German boats appeared in Boston Harbor, they wouldn't be able to strike ammunition here. So where are they going to put all this ammunition in the middle of the woods here? Well, in these giant bunkers right behind me. This area is studded with about 50 of these giant concrete bunkers that were used to store the ammunition. So through the rest of the war, these bunkers held ammunition that was eventually going to be sent out to the Western Front. After the war ended, all of this area was no longer needed to store ammunition. So it got annexed to Fort Devens, which is nearby here, and it became a training ground. However, in the 50s, the Army started dumping a ton of toxic waste into this area, and in the 80s, they investigated it, and it got so bad that they ended up closing out the area and doing a huge cleanup project here. Those cleanup efforts were mostly finished by the year 2000, and the land was transferred from the Army to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And then in 2005, they opened it up as a refuge to the public. This area today is a great area for walking around. There's families here all the time. It's really, really beautiful, relatively quiet, and a lot of the trails are really, really well preserved. So it's easy for families or people with mobility issues to get around. The other perk is that the trails go right by a lot of the bunkers. So to me, this area is a huge success story. You're talking about an area that was once used as ammunition storage for the Army, that was polluted terribly, but that was invested in with money and effort and community time, and became a really beautiful community space. It also became a really successful regenerated habitat for all the wildlife that lives here. All right, so that's about it, guys. We have made it out of the woods. We're now back to the visitor center where we parked. Thanks for joining me at the Assabet River Wildlife Refuge. I'll take this last moment on my soapbox to say find your local wilderness space. Explore it, fight to preserve it.